sound boy, you're dead today. Every day, yeah, yeah. Muscle sound put you in your grave, and now you're dead.
Two more shows that you'll never forget.
Brazil, we played this soccer stadium. Ziggy, and this was the Melody Makers, right? Ziggy and Steve and the Sedella and Sharon, and Lucky Dube, Inner Circle. And then Olodum, this great Brazilian samba reggae band. They play reggae, but with samba instruments. And they, so we would, and Brazil was such a trip. And we did this big tour called Ruffles Reggae. That whole tour was amazing, but the soccer stadium was probably filled with about 75,000 people. Ziggy closed that night. I can't remember if we played before Ziggy or if Inner Circle did, because Inner Circle and us, we kind of go back and forth. And we played till like 2 o'clock in the morning, and then Olodum starts playing. They played till 5 in the morning. I had never experienced anything like that. And, and it was just an amazing. We had been there in 1994, and it's interesting the power of reggae and how fast reggae can transform. Because I remember going to Brazil and nobody knew what the hell reggae was in 1994. We did this promotion tour, right? And I think we did a performance, and people were just kind of still looking at us like, well, what's this music, right? And I know Jimmy Cliff had already started to play there, and probably anything that people knew of reggae at that point was Jimmy Cliff. But Jimmy Cliff had such a crossover type of sound, right? And he did a lot of R&B and rocky kind of stuff. So I think they kind of mistook his music for just being pop music, right? But by the time 1990, I think it was 95 when we went for Ruffles Reggae, we were filling up stadiums, man. And I can remember I really hit it off with Lucky Dube. And we would, and it was kind of like, and the reason was because I was just so, I love just being around Jamaicans, because you got to understand, there would be this tour going on, 70 people, right? And it's like, that's like 60 Jamaicans and then 10 Americans, us. Sometimes I would just hide in my hotel room, man. I just couldn't take it. And it was just and they all knew each other. They were all part of the music business. They were all friends. And we just felt like fish out of water, man. And I remember back then, another embarrassing thing, like we would go to Japan, and the Americans, we would go right through customs, man. They would just high five us. And the Jamaicans, man, they would take 3 hours to get out of customs. And it's just like, there was all kinds of things going on like that really embarrassed me. And Lucky Dube was like, he just wasn't Jamaican. It was like, and I just kind of clung to him because he was just such a sweet man. And, and he was just so smart, so intelligent. And I just remember, I just loved the conversations. And whenever I would find him in the lunch hall, I would go sit next to him and talk to him. And we just really bonded. And I never got to see him ever again after that. We never were able to coincide on a tour. But I was so devastated when he was killed, because I always thought that we were going to be able to bond again, and link up.
Was there any conversation in particular you remember having with a Lucky Dube that you'll never forget that really stands out in your mind?
I'm going to get killed for this. He goes, well, Lucky Dube's African, right? Africans, they got a superiority complex. And, Africans and Jamaicans sometimes, Jamaicans are real proud people, Africans are real proud people, and they bump heads, right? And I can remember Lucky saying, yo, man, these Jamaicans, they come up with all kinds of stories, man. The other day, this guy was telling me that Marcus Garvey was a reincarnation of Paul. And, you know, Haile Selassie, I already know that, you know, he's a reincarnation of Jesus, and that so-and-so is a reincarnation of Peter. He goes, where do they come up with this stuff, you know? And I'm just sitting here going, man, that's some sacrilegious shit you just said. I can't say that. He goes, you know, and he was, you know, he would say Haile Selassie's a man. Mm-hmm. You know, anybody can train some lions to not eat you. And then another thing was that he also introduced me to the whole politics that were going on in South Africa, right, at the time. Mm-hmm. Jamaica is very pro Nelson Mandela, pro ANC, mm-hmm. but Lucky Dube was a Zulu. So, you know, he wasn't down with the ANC. He was in Kata Freedom Party. So, you know, I never realized that there was any political animosity going on there. But when he went and you know, the first time to Jamaica, everybody was freaking out. Oh my God, this guy's amazing, amazing, amazing. And then he did an interview, and it was like, now get this guy out of Jamaica. Because he started talking shit about Nelson Mandela, and they were like, oh, Nelson Mandela was Peter. Mm-hmm. Nelson Mandela was the reincarnation of Peter. And he goes, Nelson Mandela is my friend. Mm-hmm. And trust me, he ain't the reincarnation of Peter. And I'm just looking around going, oh, okay, can you keep it down a little bit?
Crazy. It's just what you experience when you're on the road and the type of people that you meet along the way. It's so wild.
This podcast is brought to you by www.twolinesmusichut.com.